Hi everyone, this is the sander. So when you step up to the sander, you want to make sure that you check yourself first, that if you have something around your neck, that it is tucked into your clothing, that if you have long hair, you've pulled it in a low ponytail, and that if you have baggy sleeves, that you either have pulled them up or that they're not baggy and they're actually tight against the wrist. So after you've done that, you're going to take the piece of material that you're going to work with, and you need to understand what type of materials that we can work with on this sander. So we can do wood, and because we are a metal shop, we can also do metal. However, there are 3 types of materials that you cannot use on this machine. The very first one is we don't do anything that is painted, and the reason we don't do that is it gums up the belt and then it doesn't sand any longer for us. The other one is we don't do anything with bones. So things like antlers, it turns out they stink really bad. And then if you're doing, bones inside your fingers, it makes a bloody mess. So we wouldn't do that. And even though we are a glass shop, we're not going to use glass on this particular machine, and that is because your glass will get thermal shock and it'll shatter. So you're not going to use any of those. But you would take your piece of material that you were going to sand, and now that you're ready and you know what materials that you can use, you would walk over, you would stand in front of it, and you would simply turn the machine on. When you turn the machine on, you would take your piece of material and you would lay it on the table. So this is your little table or your rest. You would lay it on the table and you would push it into the sandpaper as the sandpaper was moving. You do want to make sure that you keep your fingers at least 2 inches away from the sandpaper. You really do not want to manicure an unintended manicure. So you're going to make sure your fingers are at least 2 inches away when you're sanding. When you're done, you can simply clean up your mess and then you'd be done. However, I do want to give you a little side note, and that is that metal, it turns out, it's extraordinarily hot when you're sanding it. And so sometimes we will put a little bit of water on our fingers and on the metal in order to keep the metal cool while we're sanding. If you've done that, you need to make sure that you have wiped off after you're completely done and the belt has stopped moving. You completely wipe off this table, otherwise it's going to start to rust. And we don't want that, so make sure you clean that off. The other thing that I want you to keep in mind is if you ever see cracks and breaks in the sandpaper, it means that it is time to replace it. So you're going to notify the instructor so that we can replace it. But other than that, the sander is a really safe, easy piece of equipment to use. I hope you enjoy it.